here to tell his story, what he been through. And fortunately, that coincides with that story. So for the world to know that outside of here think that Houston don't ride together, even when it ain't been that, like it ain't that right now, we still don't have nothing bad to say about Lil Homie. You feel me? This man here to tell his truth, his side to what happened to him and what was told about him, cleaning his face like a real OG do. He didn't run to the South Side and say, I'm gonna go to the South Side because nobody else want to talk. Now he respectfully said that, and everybody around you respectfully told me about you as well. That, hey man, if I'm gonna tell this story, I'm gonna tell it on the platform we're being told on.
Yeah, for sure.
And I appreciate that, brother.
Hey, man.
You know what
it's
it is.
Love, man. It's love, man. It's love. But I appreciate you letting me tell it.
Man, you was telling us about the jewelry store. What happened in this jewelry store, man?
2009. I caught this old boy, and he worked at the Easy Palm on Bensonette and Fondren. Not Bensonette, on Belford and Fondren.
Mm-hmm.
Belford and Fondren, the Easy Palm.
And that go Mike out right there, man. He say he got, I'm gonna find out if he takes crank time faster than yours,
Right.
man. Anyway, here we go. Back to the jewelry store.
Hey,
Shout out, Mike.
Hey, I met this boy, and we set up a play to knock the jewelry store. He worked there. So I went and knocked the jewelry store. I put a play together, told the boy what I was gonna do. I said, hey, listen, I'm gonna ease in the jewelry store. The store closed at 9. I'm gonna ease in the jewelry store at 8:30. 8:30, I'm gonna ease in and hide to the back. You have the other boy pulled to the side so he can't see me. And I'm going in the back. I'm hiding in the bathroom till y'all close. They got a big walk-in safe. They keep all the jewelry that's people pawned. And now you know they got all the display jewelry out there and display cabinets. So at night they're gonna take it all out, put it in boxes to put it into the big walk-in safe. The walk-in safe is on a timer. The manager come back there. I'm in the bathroom hiding in the corner, looking at the corner door. The manager go to the door, walk off. Safe come open on the timer. He back out there, they close the door. The boy who died with the robbery, he in the jewelry cases taking all the jewelry out, putting it in those trays so he can push it all to the back, push the cart to the back with all the jewelry. It's stacked 4 high. All the jewelry in the Easy Palm, all the necklaces, all the watches that's out for sale, all the displays out for sale. He put it on the cart, set it by the door. The door is locked from the inside with a key. I'm on the inside. My driver outside. Yeah, my driver outside. My partner named T, man. Much love, baby. You know what's up, T. My driver outside, just waiting. He finna get him 50,000 just to drive. In it. It's real easy. Ain't no problem. I sit back there, I watch. So the man went back up to the front. I'm texting the Mexican boy who down. I'm texting, hey, what he doing? Oh, he counting the money. He busy. I say, cool. I get a big gray trash can. Pull that trash can over to that safe. And I dumped every fucking thing out that safe into that trash can. All the gold coins that people had pawned, people that got shit that's in pawn, every fucking piece of jewelry up in that bitch, and a money box. I put it all in the
Appreciate it, Splash. Appreciate you.
Put it all in the trash can.
They can't hear you?
No, they way up in the front.
Okay.
They way up in the front doing the paperwork.
So he done laid this out to you. He know that.
Yeah.
They not gonna be able to hear you.
Yeah.
Hide in the bathroom.
Yeah.
This time. Okay, go ahead, my bad.
You know, I will play good. So I get all the jewelry in the trash can. I pull the trash can over to the side, closer to the door. So I'm saying, hey, okay, all right, I got all the jewelry. I said, what y'all look like? He said, look good. I said, okay, I'm on my way. I'm coming out. This is what was on Channel 2. They had a video. Of me. Everybody know me because I got a distinguished walk. So as soon as everybody see him, man, that's D-Town. And they put me on Road Gallery on Channel 2. Put me on Fox 26. You know, Isaiah.
They knew it was you.
Hey, oh, and it's D-Time. So I had got all the jewelry. I pulled that thing out. I came out with my pistol. I had a mask on. Lay him down on the ground. My boy, you know, he down. So he just go into the motion. So it was a big old guy. It was a big old guy, kind of south. And I put that big old 45 up in his face, and he said, "Oh, lay it on down. Get out on the ground. Get out on the ground. Don't look up." So this boy, he'll know to tell him, "Hey, don't look up. Just stay. Don't do nothing crazy." You know, he telling him all this.
Yeah.
So they laying down. I know I'm good. He left the cart right at the door with 4 stacks of jewelry.
Oh my!
4 stacks of jewelry at the door. So I went on back. He laying down. He said, "No, don't move, man, don't move, don't get scared, son, man." So the other man over there shaking. He can't stop shaking.
Right.
He ain't trying to do nothing.
Uh-huh.
So he steady just,
You get that money too. He would count. I know you did.
Well, wait, Mike.
Yeah.
So I pulled the trash can on out and hit the door. Open the door. Told my boy in the car, "Get the trash can. Get the trash can." So I'll get the cart. I pull the cart out. All this on video. I pull the cart out. Them plastic trays, we load them up. Put them in my boy car. We hit the highway, came back to Fifth Ward. I had a clothing store then, right? So Mike, I had so much jewelry. And we got in the pull of paperwork. I got all the paperwork. I had 999 pieces of gold.
Oh my God!
999
Today
pieces of gold.
you are multi. You know the
What I
price
always
of gold
say,
is
Today, if I had all, listen, let me say this here, Mike. If I had all of it, just want to say, if I had all of it, I'd be a super rich nigga.
I know it.
But hold
Sure
that thought. But hold that thought though. It's gonna come back. So anyway, I got all
Appreciate it, Splash. Appreciate that.
this motherfucker in this store. He didn't went in the counter while getting all the jewelry out the display and putting it in the book. This some bitch that went in there and stole 2 bracelets, a 22 karat gold bracelet and an 18 karat gold bracelet, and stuffed it down in his goddamn socks.
Dumb motherfucker.
In his socks. So when the police came to investigate the robbery, you know, interrogate you because you worked there, interrogate you and you worked there. So the dude, the soft guy on the floor went to saying, he was acting suspicious. He had me do this, you know. So the dude started telling him. So he started blundering and plundering. So they say, hey, so they went to investigate. Wait, they took his name, ran his name, he had some tickets. So they gave him proper cause, take his ass down to jail. Took him down to the jailhouse. I got all the paperwork, Mike. This case I went to trial on. You can't snitch and go to trial for yourself.
Do that.
Unless you're taking a stand. I went to trial on it. Well, he got in there and the people searched him. Hey, what is this? What is this here? What? Oh, I bought that yesterday from a lady that came in to pawn it. Huh? What you mean? Oh, there they go. So now they detectives on him. I got all the paperwork, Mike. What the detectives saying, how they see it and everything. So I know. I got all the briefs because I went to trial. Man, that boy told them people, they go, okay, I'm going to tell y'all the truth. I took it. Well, why did you take it? Then they started drilling him. Well, the dude met me at the gas station. He threatened to kill my wife and my family. Who? He been texting me. They ran my number. Mike, they ran my number. Me and my partner had just got knocked out. Big Cooney. Me and my partner had got knocked out on some humbug. The police had us locked down. They thought we were doing some burglary. So when they got my name, they ran my name, and my name came up with my partner because we had just got pulled over. So they went to showing him pictures of me and my partner. Well, he picked pictures of me. Say that's him. Well, the police issued I had the jury 2 days. The first day I got that jury, I took every necklace and I went to the gold exchange to my people that I fuck with right now. I went to the gold exchange. Nick was a kid, Nick was a kid. He fucked with his daddy.
Oh,
But I went to my other people up top. And man, I sold them people $75,000 worth of necklaces that day. Cause all I had
What
to get.
they was telling you 75,000.
Yeah. But no. I just sold gold.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just sold gold.
So
I got
one standard price.
Yeah, I just got
okay.
$75,000 worth of gold. I just sold to give the man who was down with me. I got to give him 52. I mean, I got to give my driver 50. I don't want to wait on his money. I'm gonna give him 50. I got to give these other boys 80. I'm gonna give them the other 25. And then I sell the rest of them. Give them some more. Everything else mine, right? All pieces. I pick out what I want. Everything mine. I pick out many watches as I want. That's mine. Well, I said at home that night, Mike. Golden rule, I was cutting tags out off all that jewelry. Cutting tags. You can't identify that jewelry when they ain't got no tags on it.
Fact.
I sit in my house down, I sit in my shop and cut off all them tags with my partner. With my partner there, See Good, Sky High Entertainment. He know what's up. I sit there and I cut all them tags. I'm so nervous. I got so much gold in there, man. I'm like, I'm in Fort Knox. I'm scared. So I cut all the tags off. In the morning I wake up, I go sell a bunch of them. So I'm calling this boy, his phone going straight to voicemail. So I asked my other partner who knew him too. I said, man, what's up with your boy? Oh, they took him to jail last night. Took him to jail. Say, yeah, man, he just had some tickets. I said, just had some tickets. I said, man, I called his phone late and it rang and it hung right up. I looked at my partner, I'm like, nah, that ain't right. Well, he snitched on me and lied. He lied and said that I forced him to let me rob the jewelry store. So the police put a warrant for my arrest. I was already on parole. I've been on parole since '92. So I was on parole. So they had put a warrant out for my arrest for aggravated robbery. One of my partners came that morning. I was in the bed. I had went to the strip club and got this chick that I was talking to named Monique. I went and got her. And say, hey, come on, man. She said, man, I can't leave. I say, hey, man, come on, man. I got more money than you ever gonna make your life. Come on out of here. Because I was nervous. I didn't know what to do. I wasn't having no sex. Nothing of mine just was.
Oh, I know what you're saying.
So
I need company.
Yeah.
Gotta help me think and process.
So
cut the tags.
And
I can't do nothing.
Man.
I know the place.
Man, so I did that, man. And we supposed to went to, she had a little spot in Katy. Well, I'm gonna take that stuff out to Katy because I'm nervous, I'm scared, all this gold.
And he's supposed to be telling it?
No.
Did you think he was telling it at this time? Or you didn't know?
Not really, but you know, you getting a benefit of the doubt. So I say, look.
Went to jail for tickets.
I gave him that $25,000. Hey, here go $25,000, man. Tell him get the rest of the money in a minute, man. Just just hold up. Okay,
so
now
Antenna was halfway up.
No, but I'm saying let me try to make sure it's right. So and that sounds about right. You go to jail for some tickets, but
let me make sure people tell him it's 25 at the house waiting.
Yeah, not knowing he had no braces in his shoes, not knowing that.
That's cold.
You know, I'm thinking, oh, he just probably got some tickets to send that money over there.
So what happened when he came home?
Well, they came for me.
Oh,
they came for me. They came for me. They came 80 police officials deep. 2009.
Oh my
SWAT units, SWAT surrounded my place in Fifth Ward. HPD, Metro, County, DPS, 80. SWAT surrounded my spot to get in that spot to get that jewelry. Because they felt like the jury was up in there. I had a 96 Impala. I had a 73 Delta 88 drop top. I had a super clean 2006 Road King Harley dressed out. I had a super clean green truck. My house was green. So the police was just talking. This it. You know, this where it's at. Yeah, he got all this shit. Well, they surrounded that house for 6 hours, Mike. One of my partners seen him at my mama's house around the corner. Say, hey, man.
They coming.
Man, it's a whole bunch of laws. They coming. Get up, D. Let's go. Go. So I woke up. I'm nervous, Mike. I'm nervous. I got all this jewelry up in the closet, hid up under blankets and shit because I done got tired. I'm nervous. I got 2 Rolexes in my bed. I got 2 bad rings in my bed. I got a few bad necklaces in my bed. And just sitting in the sheet, and he told me, I go wake the girl. I said, come on, we got to go. I said, what? I said, we got to go. She had a rental car. By the grace of God, man, I grabbed that jewelry. I had a pickle jar of Dolly. That's when Dolly was 500 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Dolly was 500 pounds. I mean, 500 ounces.
Zip.
Zip.
Yeah,
that one we were smoking.
Yeah. We was smoking it good. A 7 was 150,
You
200.
goddamn right.
Yeah.
You
You
goddamn
buy a
right.
zip for 500 and make $8,000 to $1,000 and smoke for free.
Hey, man. Hey, man. That was that.
Them days.
So, I grabbed me a little zip and ran out that house, man. Couldn't get no more jewelry. I had a little money. I think I had maybe about $78,000 in my pocket. I got that little money run out. So we pulled out. We pulled out my yard. We pulled out my yard and hit the street, going straight. A car coming. So I sitting in the passenger seat. I slide down. I say, go slow. Look at that car. Is it a white man? Then she said, yeah, he a white man. He didn't pay attention to the car because he think the car just come down the street. He didn't know it bagged out of my yard.
Oh.
Yeah, that was their first time coming to that place. It hadn't like they had been watching their perimeter. They had been watching my mama perimeter. They had been watching my mama perimeter till it hit till my registration was over here too. And they came. I had got out on the street. I said, ooh. She said, yeah, he's slowing down by your house. So I dropped the sun visor and opened that mirror, and I'm looking through that mirror. I said, ooh, that motherfucker stopping at my spot. Whoop, another car hit the corner. When we turned, police car. I said, ooh, shit. Go. She turned this way. They coming this way, man. They surrounded my shit. Boom. When you walked on my porch, my cameras say, beware.
Man, it's
Beware.
recorded.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
So when you come up there, it sound like somebody behind the door. And I had stained glass. So the stained glass, when you walk up, is a reflection, look like somebody back there moving.
Mm-hmm.
So they went to feeling that I was in the house. Them people surrounded that house for over 7 hours. Said I had a suspect in the house with me, held against their will.
Oh my God.
They called SWAT out. They got SWAT out to come.
So y'all made it. Wait.
Yeah, I was gone. I got away. They called SWAT out, and SWAT came in because it's supposed to be a hostage situation. Yeah, they come. Well, they went in the house with that little
Robot.
That little robot. That robot had first started. They went and they sent that robot in my house. The heat sink all in the attic, and the robot didn't sense no heat in the house. Okay. So SWAT went into my house and conducted a search looking for
A person. Yeah, you. Yeah.
nowhere my body could not fit.
They can't look.
They can't look.
Yeah, because they looking for the person.
Anything plain view.
Yeah, that's what happened in Pool Case 5. Yeah. That was one of the things we had.
Okay. Anything in plain view was mine. Well, wasn't nothing in plain view but some weed in the pickle jar.
Yeah.
They didn't even mess with that. SWAT left out. I had a rifle across my bedpost, invisible. I am known to be on parole. So they took the rifle,
Yeah.
checked to see if it was loaded. It wasn't loaded. They took it outside. They returned it over to HPD. Say, hey, we just conducted a search. This man is not in the house. This is the only thing that we found in this house because it's plain view. HPD Robbery Division took that rifle. Instead of taking that rifle and tagging it or putting it back because I'm not there. You can't put that to nobody. They went in my house and conducted a search on their own and didn't have no search warrant for my house. They had an arrest warrant for me.
Me, yes. That's the same thing, Five.
They went behind SWAT
Yeah.
and they did it illegally. They went in my house and they took all that jewelry. They took all that jewelry out of my house. Well, I was on the run. I went on the run.
I wasn't able to grab the jewelry. Not all.
No. 999 pieces, and I had sold maybe 40 necklaces. Maybe 40 necklaces. You know what I'm saying? I got
You got some pieces.
Man, I got some pieces, man. I had it all in the closet though, in little drawers.
But they got
covered.
Shit. They got it.
covered. They went in there illegal and obtained it. Listen, check this out, Mike. Because I'm finna give up something, man. I'm finna give up some shit to you, Mike. Hey, man. They talking. They have no idea what the fuck going on with me. Everybody want to know how I get my money, what I'm doing, how I do this. Hey, man, have no idea. Pay some hell of a consequence, some hell of a prices to live the life I live. Have the things I have. I pay some hell of a consequence. It's very few can out hustle me. If I died and set myself up in position to where my son gonna be the next millionaire, quick. Setting him up for generational wealth to have some. You can't knock me for that, Mike.
That what you put here.
Hey, man, you can't knock me for that. You can't hate me for that if I'm being a good father, a good son, a good husband. How you gonna knock somebody for being that? You knock no good, motherfuckers. You know? So, you know, man, at that point, you know, with me, I was on the run. I'm hanging around my partner. My partner had a big old house out there in Summerwood. He had a big old house out there in Summerwood. Slim used to come out to his house. All of us used to go out there, you know, to my partner's house. You know, cool house. We got a pool. We just have fun. Well, you know, all the homies know I was cool people. Everybody all over the city know, man, D-Town on the run. D-Town on the run. They robbed the jewelry store. Yada, 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 yada. Well, my partner let me come stay with him, man, and I ain't gonna call no nigga name. He come over there to do some business and see me and went to going around telling people where he seen me at. I had a duffel bag with some drawers in it, a t-shirt, some flip-flops, and some deodorant. It's two, you know, a little hygiene
Travel kit, yeah.
Hygiene kit. I ain't have no change of clothes, nothing, Mike. I had my money in my sock. I ain't had no jewelry on. I just wanted to look plain Jane because I'm getting out this town. I got on the bus in Beaumont and headed out to North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina. Took me 2 days to get there, Mike. I'm nervous. You know how they be pulling the bus, so I'm nervous, Mike. I'm fucked up. I'm on my own. I'm talking off burner phone. My mama worried. You know, I got a 2-year-old daughter. Daddy, where you at? Daddy, where you at? Hey, man.
I got it.
Man, I lost my clothing store. You know, and took all my money, you know. I'm fucked up. Kyle say, man, we got you. We say we got to change your name. You can't be D-Town. They named me OG Stacks. So that's how I got the name OG Stacks, because I was on the North Carolina side.
How long you stay out there?
I stayed out there 10 months on the run. I could have stayed 10 years. I went to sleeping with my phone, calling back home.
Too comfortable.
That's
the main thing. That's what they count on.
Yeah, too comfortable.
On the run for you to call mama.
Hey, man. Well, my dad,
whoever.
hey, R.I.P. my daddy, man. Man, my daddy passed on while I was on the run. My daddy, been, you know, since a pup, my true dad. I couldn't even go to his funeral. I couldn't come back to Texas.
Okay.
Detectives was all over the funeral because people had told him in the paperwork, he coming back to this. I told my mama, I'm a gangster, I'm on the run. I ain't coming. I can't come. I can't come, mama. Mama, I'm gonna beat this case, mama. Mama, they had no search warrant, mama. But I ain't ready to go do that there right now, mama.
Was you talking to lawyers at that
Oh,
time?
yeah. I knew law. I knew law because I had been in and out the penitentiary my whole life, Mike. I stayed on close cuts. I stayed in the law library getting law books just to read, just to get knowledge, to see how niggas is getting busted with dope cases and beating them and shit. How niggas getting murder cases beat. I just read them. Mike. What I'm telling you, man, it's a lot of homies I done help come home because of my law. Yeah. One of your true OGs out of Third Ward. You know Fats?
Come on now.
Yeah,
I know
Fats. Much love, Fats. Tell them who brought you home, Fats. You know, I was blessed to learn the law. And the law was on my side on the jury store case. I went to trial. I was found not guilty on illegal search and procedure. Fourth Amendment, a man castles the most sacred grounds in the world. They didn't have no search warrant to go in them containers and look at that jury. It wasn't a see-through container. It was covered up. When you open that container, no good. Well, I go to trial, I beat them. Remember, I had the gun.
Mm-hmm.
They came back and gave me the gun charge. I got 10 years.
God.
Well, while I was in jail with Bleeker, this is where I used to be captain with Bleeker, you know about the case.
Uh-huh.
How I walked on him, how I beat him at trial. You know, we just shooting the shit.
Shooting the whoop, yeah.
Well, my lawyer wrote me. Shout out to Having Fun. My lawyer wrote me and said, hey, district attorney just wrote me. Say they got some property they got to release to you. Who you want to go get it? Write me and tell me who to go get it. Put my mama on it. Say, my mama go get the property. Said again, the guns and all the stuff that they took illegal back.
The jury.
Hey, sit down, Mike. Sit down, Mike. Sit down, Mike. Sit down, Mike. Let me do it.
Oh.
Sit down, Mike.
Oh, I'm sitting.
Yeah. This is what the guidelines of the law. This is the guidelines of the law. I was found not guilty. I had a judge by the name of Kevin Fine. He in the penitentiary right now because he was doing meth.
Dirty motherfucker.
He was doing meth, but he went by the law.
Mm.
I had the baddest district attorney in Harris County named Hayward Carter. Wore a bow tie. He told my mama, oh, I'm just finna give him a life sentence. My mama broke down and started crying and told me, please, they offered me 40 on a plea bargain.
Didn't take it.
Offered me 40 on a plea bargain. My mama told me, baby, you know you did it. Don't take 20. I ain't gonna live that long. I said, hey, mama.
Taking 20 minutes.
My mom, shout out to my mama. I told my mama, hey, mama, this is the life I chose. I'm a gangster. If it's meant for me to die in the penitentiary, I'm going to trial. Don't tell me about taking nothing. Mama, my mama lie. My mama lie. I ain't taking nothing going to trial. The day I started trial, Mike, I put my suit on and I looked in, I was in the hole by myself. I looked in that mirror, I looked in the window, you know, that window like a mirror.
Yeah.
I ain't had no suit on a long time, right? I'm going to face a life sentence. I looked in that mirror and said, Lord, this might be my last time alive in a suit. Give me the power and the strength. I'm finna go to war. I'm finna fight for my life. Mike, I ain't know if next time I'll be in a suit, I could have been dead if they gave me aggravated life. I've been in penitentiary 5 times. Not no violation, 5 times, different numbers, different years. They give me aggravated life sentence. I'm out of there, man. I was in my 40s then. You know, I had developed diabetes in the county jail, nervous, stressing. Hey, man, I get a life sentence. I probably, hey, man, I ain't gonna make it. Well, I end up getting the 10 years, man. End up getting the 10 years, and I rode home and told Mom, hey, go get with Albert. Go get that property. Mom said, what property? I said, I don't know what kind of property they got. She said, I want. I said, he said some guns and another property. He ain't say this to jury. Well, okay. Yeah, he didn't say the jury then. So I told my mom, said, I ain't going to get no guns. I ain't going to get no gun. I ain't going to get that gun. No, you don't need that gun. So, all right, cool. So Albert rolled me back and said, hey, would you like to depart with that Pele Philippe? I would be interested in getting it. He said, they're giving you a large amount of jewelry back, and I would like to, purchase some for you, D, And I'm like, oh, okay. So I told my mama, and I told my sister, hey, y'all go get that jewelry. My mama was scared. My sister and my mama went and got that jewelry and brought that jewelry on. And I'm in Gaza. I'm in the penitentiary, so we ain't on no phones like that. It's visitation or letter. My sister came and said, hey, I got all them jewelry. You got to give me one of them rings. I said, what jewelry? What jewelry? Oh, you got your Rap-A-Lot piece back there. Took all my personal jewelry and all that. You got all your Rap-A-Lot pieces back. All, she said I'm got all my stuff back. And all this other jewelry that wasn't even mine. But they had to award that back to me.
Because you won.
Because I won. And they couldn't use it as evidence against me. It didn't have no tags on it. The video could not describe nothing but a dude in black. Niggas in the street know how I walk.
Oh, 85, boy. Ooh,
I took him to trial.
Yeah, you took him to trial.
I took him to trial, man. So how you gonna call me a rat? Rats don't go to trial. I took it to trial. I fought for a life sentence, man, and I got 15 years. I got 10 years, man. Ain't told on nobody. Who could I tell on? I'm the master. This rat told on me. You know, so it's a lot of stuff I ain't put out there in the game, man. You know, and I can talk about this now because, hey, man, statutory limitation up. I done passed it up.
You won.
And I won. And I won.
And it's over.
And they want to wonder, well, he getting all them old pieces. He got a bunch of old pieces. Say, man,
Hey.
I hustle hard for that, man.
Yeah.
And right now, my woman tell you, man, I got my jeweler, my same jeweler. It ain't nothing in the world I can't go get from. Ain't nothing in the world I can't go in there and get from. He know it's bulletproof with me. When I left here, he had an IOU for me for $150,000, man. And he played nothing about my money. You know, I go in, man, give me that watch, man. Man, some homies want to buy him a watch. I go get him a good deal on me. Buy him a piece. I go get him a good deal on me. When I'm speaking to the fan. They know. Hey, man, they, you know, like I say, niggas lie, history don't.
With spring deals at Ashley, you can find inspiration when you least expect it. All it takes is looking at things a little differently. Find a fresh perspective with Ashley at prices that let you dream big. Shop the season in-store and online.
You ready, Fab? Let's go. Once again, you have tuned in to the one-on-one with Mike D. This is the one-on-one with Miggity Mike D. And player haters want to know who you are. I got a cake-ass.
Superstar. Cake-ass.
Cake-ass nigga in the building, man. It's going down today. He said we come to make history. We ain't come to make it no mystery. So I'm going to just sit back, put my seatbelt on and enjoy
cook these niggas like hickory. Yeah, man. It's finna be a real roller coaster ride, man. Shout out to Mike D, man. You built your platform up, man, and you doing your goddamn thing.
Appreciate it, bro.
In the city. Motherfuckers is got their eyes on you, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, man.
You know, so you gotta do it for the culture, not the vultures, like my nigga.
A pleasure for homie to achieve what he didn't achieve in the game. On the game side, to know that man said he was gonna do it, man, he did it. So it makes me stride harder. Believe me, all of them know, hey man, shout it to them, they can't out hustle me.
Come on, man.
They can't out hustle me, you know. And God done blessed me with this. You know, I took a bunch of falls in my life. You know, but I keep standing tall. I keep standing tall. I keep standing tall. You know, and I got this story that I got to clean my name because bro was misled on some information about me.
Yeah.
You know, it ain't nothing but love with me.
Yeah. It's
I die.
Go ahead.
I die with this, Mike.
And what they say for they can't see it. That
Rap-A-Lot Mafia. Here. He know we battled for this in the penitentiary, man. Every city, every state, man, people talk down on bro. We were there together.
I tell you
You
this, I've been a penitentiary twice, and every yard I done never hit, I'm gonna be honest with you. Everybody from Fifth Ward got a money receipt. Rap a lot.
Yeah.
Everybody I know has stuff.
It wasn't even just for Fifth Ward. I was on Styles, and I had to
seeing that those standards that are going to be set up are met in the Oakland Public Schools. Meanwhile, the man authorities believe was behind a decade of bloody Oakland drug wars and killings was buried today, and police hope his passing is going to bring to an end an era of brutality in Oakland's turbulent history. But even in the end, this funeral today was flashy and controversial, and the city really couldn't do anything about it. Channel 7's Ed Leslie has details for us.
Right along in here. I need just a little bit more room, please. A little bit more room.
Just when the East Bay thought one of its most notorious hoods was gone forever, he came back to star in a funeral production fit for a king. Alas, it was his own. 32-year-old convicted drug racketeer Felix Mitchell was stabbed to death last week in his cell at Leavenworth. Mitchell was convicted in San Francisco federal court earlier this year after allegations that he was the kingpin in an East Oakland heroin dealership that featured fancy cars, flashy parties, and murders. Murders including victims who had nothing to do with Mitchell's mob, innocent people who were killed merely by accident. His neighborhood, however, was divided today on whether Felix Mitchell was a hero or a villain.
The family has a right to a private funeral. I don't think they have a right to force this kind of thing on the community in Oakland, and I'm very upset about it. Felix dealt in drugs over here in the village for years. He used young kids to deal with drugs. I don't think any of us here want our kids to be brought up that way. And I think this is a good example of what happens when you deal with drugs.
If you put some jobs here, maybe we won't have this on the streets of Oakland. That's
ahead.
what it takes. You understand?
I know what he done. He was a good man. And we need to tell the city officials that if they get the jobs out there, then maybe it wouldn't be so much drugs in Oakland.
There were others interested in the garish parade that made its way right down San Pablo Avenue, tying up traffic and amazing onlookers.
This is totally ridiculous.
And they were the detectives who helped send Mitchell to prison. They were looking for Mitchell's possible successor, and their somewhat ostensible vantage point was Mitchell's favorite red Ferrari, seized by the government under a new law. At the church, hundreds of people were turned away from the sellout funeral, but many were lucky enough to get souvenir programs. Others just watched, quietly wondering how to explain all this to their children. The services were strictly private as family and friends said their last goodbyes to Felix Mitchell, now at last a victim himself. In Oakland, Ed Leslie, Channel 7 News.
Well, those pictures that police were taking there are going to be gone over very closely to see if anybody was there who should not have been there, and maybe help them focus in on trying to find out who's going to try to power their way down the same path that Mitchell did. Coming up next here at 6.
Battleship sunk. Enemy battleship detected. Enemy submarine spotted. Attention. Reporting the target position.
August 29th, 1986. Oakland, California. A horse-drawn glass carriage rolls through the streets of East Oakland. Inside, a bronze coffin worth $6,000. On top of the coffin, flowers arranged in the shape of a dollar sign. Behind the carriage, 14 Rolls-Royce limousines, white, gleaming, stretching back so far that witnesses could not see where the procession ended. 8,000 people line the streets. Ushers in tuxedos direct the crowd. Television cameras broadcast the scene internationally. Reporters scramble to describe what they are seeing because nobody has ever seen anything like this. Not for a mayor, not for a senator, not for a general, for a 31-year-old heroin dealer from the housing projects. In the crowd, Black Panther co-founder Huey P. Newton. Bay Area radio host Jimmy Guy watched the procession and later said that it was like Martin Luther King had died. The procession started at the San Antonio Villas, the housing projects where the dead man had grown up, and ended at Star Bethel Baptist Church in Emeryville. Civic leaders were furious, but proper permits had been filed. There was nothing anyone could do. His name was Felix Mitchell. They called him Felix the Cat. And what happened next would become one of the strangest phenomena in the history of American crime. because the police thought putting Felix Mitchell in prison would save Oakland. Criminologists would later name an entire paradox after what happened instead. His arrest did not reduce crime. It did not save lives. It did not slow down the drug trade. It made everything worse. This is the story of the drug dealer whose funeral looked like a president had died and whose absence destroyed a city more than his presence ever did. Years later, at Felix Mitchell's federal trial, a prosecutor would stand before the jury and say something that captured everything about the man in a single sentence. A prosecutor told the jury that Mr. Mitchell was flashy and always wanted to be seen. That was the whole story. Felix Mitchell always wanted to be seen. In a neighborhood where nobody saw you. In a city that forgot you existed. In projects so broken that the buildings themselves would eventually be demolished, erased from the map like they never happened. Felix Wayne Mitchell Jr. was born on August 23, 1954, in Oakland, California. He grew up in the 69th Avenue San Antonio Village housing projects, a cluster of low-rise buildings in East Oakland that residents called 69ville. The buildings were crumbling, the streets were cracked, jobs did not exist, opportunity did not exist. The city of Oakland put money into downtown and the hills. The flats, the projects, got nothing. Felix dropped out of high school. No diploma, no prospects, no way out that anyone could see, but Felix saw something. He looked at 69ville, this forgotten cluster of buildings that nobody cared about, and he saw a fortress. He saw a headquarters. He saw an empire. While still a teenager, Felix started organizing the kids around him, his friends, his neighbors, boys he had grown up with in the projects who had the same nothing he had. He called them My Other Brother. Think about that name. Not a gang name, not something designed to intimidate. My Other Brother, M.O.B., a family. That's how the 69 mob was born. And here is what made Felix different from every other kid selling drugs on a street corner in the 1970s in America. He did not think like a dealer. He thought like a CEO. Felix connected with a Los Angeles kingpin named Tootie Reese. Through Reese, he built supply lines connecting the Bay Area to Los Angeles and Detroit. He was not just selling heroin. He was building a distribution network with suppliers, middlemen, territory managers, and soldiers. Criminologists would later credit Felix Mitchell with creating the country's first large-scale, gang-controlled drug operation. Not the Crips, not the Bloods, not the gangster disciples. A dropout from the Oakland projects, he did it first. The 69 mob ran heroin through East Oakland like a corporation. They had structure. They had hierarchy. They had territory mapped out block by block. Felix sourced heroin from Mexican suppliers through his Los Angeles connections. The raw product came north, got cut in Oakland, and was distributed through a network that eventually spanned at least 8 states, including California, Arizona, and Texas, with outposts reaching into the Midwest. He created branded product, stamped packaging so customers knew they were getting 69 mob heroin. Brand recognition for drugs in the 1970s, before anyone else thought of it. And he innovated in ways that would change the drug game forever, in the worst possible way. He used children. Kids as young as 12 became delivery agents and lookouts. They could not be prosecuted as adults. They were invisible to the legal system, and they were loyal to Felix because he was the only person in their lives who ever gave them anything. The BET documentary about Felix's life would later describe it this way. His armed lieutenants and child lookouts helped to make Oakland an outlaw culture built by a teenager in a housing project. Here is the contradiction at the center of this entire story, And you need to hold this contradiction in your mind for everything that comes next. Felix Mitchell, the man who flooded Oakland with heroin, who turned children into drug runners, who would popularize drive-by shootings, also gave candy and toys to kids in the neighborhood. He donated money to charities. He sponsored youth athletic programs. He opened swimming pools in poor Oakland neighborhoods. He took busloads of children to Marine World. He distributed turkeys at Thanksgiving. He went to church. He was destroying the community with one hand and building it with the other. And the community loved him for it.
Whoa. What's that? I just built a budgeting app in Base 44. Guys, Nina just built an app.
Impossible.
Because nobody else was doing anything at all. By the late 1970s, Felix Mitchell was untouchable. Picture the scene. It is a Saturday night in East Oakland in the late 1970s. The streets around 69ville are cracked and neglected. Buildings are falling apart. The city forgot these blocks existed a long time ago. And then a procession of European sports cars rolls through. At the center, Felix Mitchell, full-length fur coat, diamonds catching the streetlight, diamond-encrusted frames on his glasses, surrounded by lieutenants carrying assault rifles, not concealed, not hidden, carrying them openly through the streets of Oakland like bodyguards for a head of state. Nobody called the police. Nobody complained. Because in 69ville, Felix Mitchell was the authority. Rapper Too Short would later say Felix Mitchell was like Oakland's leader, not its drug dealer, its leader. And he played the role perfectly. Estimates on how much money Felix was making varied wildly. $400,000 a week, according to some. $800,000 a week, according to others. $1 million a month. $5 million a year. The numbers depended on who was counting. The feds, the journalists, the people on the street. But everyone agreed on one thing. Felix Mitchell had more money than anyone in Oakland, and he did not hide it. He weaponized it. A different luxury car every day. Parties so lavish they became legends. Clothes that cost more than most families in 69ville earned in a year. He transformed himself from a housing project dropout into an Oakland folk hero, and he did it on purpose. Because Felix understood something that most drug dealers never figure out. Fear keeps people in line, but loyalty keeps them quiet. So he built loyalty. His nephew, Darrell Reed, was one of those kids. Reed would later write in his book, Wait, that he was...
I had saw that shit. I just I saw it and I got up out of there. I ain't know what was going on. I ain't never saw you like that. But salute though. Shit, salute.
Drawn to his uncle's glamour, the thousands of dollars worth of jewelry, the clothes, the diamond-encrusted glasses frames, and the rides around town in exotic cars. Felix treated him like a son. He bought him expensive clothes. He showed him what power looked like. Darrell Reed had once dreamed of being a baseball player. He played shortstop and left field for the Allen Temple Little League team. He played point guard on a basketball team that won a championship at the Rainbow Recreation Center. But that dream didn't stand a chance. Not with Felix Mitchell as your uncle. Not with the diamond glasses and the fur coats and the Rolls Royces rolling through 69ville every night. Reed didn't know it yet, but he was watching a blueprint for his own destruction because Felix's empire had a problem. Other people wanted it. Felix Mitchell wasn't the only.
It's a little documentary about Felix Mitchell. He was a kingpin in Oakland. Cuz.
What's up, shit? I'm up here with you.
What up, cuz?
I ain't shit nothing. I'm up here with you.
Yeah, I love this shit. I've been wanting to watch this shit.
Yeah, I'm up here chilling.
Drug dealer in Oakland. His
All
two
right,
biggest rivals were Harvey Wisenton, who ran a gang called Funktown USA, and Milton Moore, known as Mickey Mo, the leader of a crew called the Family. Moore's story alone would be a movie. Before he was a drug dealer, he was an R&B singer, a musician with actual talent who crossed over into the drug trade and built an organization powerful enough to challenge Felix's monopoly head on. Think about that for a second. An R&B singer going to war with the most powerful drug lord on the West Coast. Moore's crew called themselves the Family, and they weren't afraid of Felix Mitchell. For years, the three organizations, the 69 Mob, the Family, and Funktown USA, circled each other. Tensions simmered, territory shifted, small acts of violence escalated into bigger ones. Everyone knew a full-scale war was coming. The only question was when. Then came August 1980, and the answer was now. In the first week of that month, 3 people connected to Mickey Moore's family gang were murdered. Vendisha Davis, Terry Hatter, Charles Dorsey. 3 bodies in a matter of days, but the worst was still coming. On August 6th, 1980, Ricky the Rocket Walker, his 18-year-old brother, Roger Red Walker, and their sister-in-law, Sandy Adamson, disappeared. The next morning, a jogger found them on a grassy slope near Skyline Boulevard in a hilly section of an Oakland park called Colorado Trail.
Small business accounting software, supercharged.
Red Walker, 18, and Sandy Adamson, 31, had plastic bags pulled over their head. They died of asphyxiation, strangled. Ricky the Rocket Walker, 26, was found nearby with 2 bullet wounds to the back of his skull. Execution style. 3 people, 1 family, found on a hillside above Oakland like a message written in blood. 6 gangland murders in 1 week. The police called it Bloody August. Federal witnesses would later testify that members of Felix Mitchell's inner circle bragged about their involvement in the murders of the Walkers and Adamson. And Felix? Felix told an associate he had taken a trip to Los Angeles during the first week of August 1980. A convenient vacation, a perfect alibi. While his people were strangling victims and putting bullets in skulls on an Oakland hillside, Felix the Cat was in Los Angeles, far enough away to keep his hands clean. He also pioneered something else during these wars, something that would spread across America like a plague. Felix Mitchell popularized the drive-by shooting. Before Felix, gangland murders were personal. You got close. You looked your enemy in the eye. Felix turned killing into something you did from a moving car. Fast. Impersonal. Devastating. A car rolls up. Windows come down. Shots fired. The car drives away. The victim bleeds out on the sidewalk. No witnesses who will talk. No evidence left behind. It spread from Oakland to every city in America. And it started here with Felix the Cat. Mickey Moore and the family were eventually brought down in 1985, the same year Felix.
Good.
Yo,
Man, so that's where the drive-by shooting shit come from for real?
I thought it was popularized in L.A.
No,
in the town they weren't doing.
Huh?
I said in the town we weren't doing no drive-bys. We weren't known
Right.
for that.
I mean, I know. That was like more that
LA.
was more southern. Yeah,
That was more LA.
But you heard what they just said. They just said that like he like basically introduced it, and that's when everybody else took off with it.
Yeah, he was messing around in LA real tough. So he probably was getting that shit.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Bringing that shit back up to the town.
Yeah. Damn, that's
Yeah, them was the
crazy,
days,
bro.
man.
I remember. Hey, I don't remember, but like I
Yeah, yeah, you could.
I
Yeah,
remember
you.
that name. I remember that name. That's why I don't know how that, bro. I'm just sitting here and I got the documentaries and I just Felix Mitchell. That shit just popped up in my mind. I'm like,
Yeah,
I remember that name.
that's the real Oakland history right there. See,
This one right
that's
here.
the yeah, that's the real Oakland history. But that's like the first generation of the drug trade. Then the second generation come
That's great.
with Lord Durrell. Then I'm the third generation,
Yeah.
you know. But the first generation was Felix Mitchell, Mickey Moe, and then it go down to Lord Durrell, you know, Pondo
So
and all and
it was
Flowers.
70s, 80s, and then 90s.
Yeah, go
That
to
what you said?
it was like the 70s and then the 80s. That's when Durrell and them um,
Mm-hmm.
came, and then I came in the late 80s. So I'm like the third
Okay.
generation of the crack era.
Yeah. Cause that, damn, I didn't know. So first it was H, and then it went to, and then the evolution of crack.
Yeah. Then that's the
Man,
first
I did
generation.
not know that.
What if you want to say that the first generation of the crack era, that was Lil Durrell, and then I was the second
Wow.
generation that came up under them
See
of
what
the
I'm
crack
saying? The
era.
whole time, see the whole time I'm thinking H just like came out the blue, like this shit been going on.
Yeah. That was a thing back then.
What
Was
is some
the
shit,
H
boy?
and the freebase. That's what they was doing first. That freebase,
Right. Damn.
and then that's when Lord Durrell and them came with the crack cocaine.
Yeah, see, they was like, oh damn, oh wow, we can cook this shit. And then it
Yeah,
turned, yeah,
yeah.
damn, ain't
You
that
know
some
that's where
shit,
they
bro?
that's where Freeway Ricky Ross he found out how to cook cocaine.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I didn't know that.
Yep. He said it started in Oakland. That's where it started at on the West Coast.
No, I know that for sure though. I know that
Yep.
shit. Yeah, I know that for sure. I know
Yeah, that
that
city
part
got a
right
lot of
there.
history, man. A
It
lot of
do,
history.
it do, it
Man, that
really
motherfucker
do.
got a lot of history, bro.
A lot of first starting shit that happened first there too. Like a lot
Mm-hmm.
of shit happened first there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That motherfucker just like Baton Rouge is small, but it's kind of big in its own way. It's just like Baton Rouge, bro. So what? Only thing is just talk different and kind of act different. Everything
Yeah,
is the
yeah. I
same
could
though.
tell.
As far as the cars,
Yeah, I could see
like
that.
everything the same, bro. Everything is it's the same shit, bro. I
I could
swear.
tell how lame y'all be talking about the colors. That's y'all be listening to 840
Man.
down there and all the shit showed in.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I could
Yep.
see that. Yeah. Because in New
That shit
Orleans
was insane.
they don't really vibe with Oakland, but Baton Rouge do.
And they
You can
don't,
tell
yeah, they
Baton
don't
Rouge
really
do.
vibe with shit with nobody though.
Yeah.
Them bitches like this own little world, bro. They like off to themselves type shit.
And I was telling Diggs
Yeah.
the other day when we was up there, I said, bro, I said, Fresh Uncle's the first nigga to show me how to cook coke. Willie Lane.
Nah, for sure. Yeah, I remember you told me that too. That's
Willie
crazy. Yeah.
Lane. Willie Lane.
Yeah.
He was the first one to show me.
Ain't that some shit though?
Man, he was the first one to show me because I was buying hard and I didn't even know. He said, stop doing it. I'm gonna show you how to get some money. He
Yeah.
went and showed me. It took me a minute, but yeah, he the first one to show me.
And that's my aunt. That was Wanda's boyfriend.
Man, come on, man.
Yeah.
What? Bro, that was
Yeah.
stick to glue like man, you couldn't that was
Shit.
unsippable.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. That's some shit, bro. Like this motherfucker was too small, bro.
Yeah, Willie Lane, he was the first one to show me. He kept
Oh,
showing me how to do it because I was like I said, I kept buying hard. He like, nah, man, you ain't gonna get to where you need to be. And that's what
yeah,
he showed me. He showed I mean too. He showed everybody.
yeah. I mean, man, bro,
Yeah, Willie Lane.
that's crazy, bro. I ain't lying. That's crazy. I used to see this motherfucker every time I wake up, bro.
Willie Lane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Stanky feet, motherfucker, man.
Hey, that motherfucker Will,
That
man, that was
nigga
my
every
nigga.
time. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, Willie Lane, that was my
Strong
nigga.
build ass motherfucker.
Man,
But that
strong
nigga
as fuck.
strong as a motherfucker.
Man, that nigga strong as hell.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Man, he was last time I heard I think he was he had a little carpet, you know how to lay that carpet and shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was doing that.
TJ told me that shit too.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I'm about to play it, cuz.
Go ahead, I'm here.
All right.
Got arrested. The R&B singer who went to war with Oakland's drug king is now a preacher. By 1985, Felix Mitchell had been at the top for nearly a decade. He had survived Bloody August. He had outlasted rivals. He had built an empire that stretched across California and into the Midwest, spanning at least 8 states. But the bodies had piled too high. Local and federal law enforcement had been building a case for years. The FBI, the DEA, and Oakland Police Department were all watching. Wiretaps, informants, surveillance. In 1985, they finally got him. Felix Mitchell was arrested, tried, and convicted. The judge sentenced him
When I
to
was
life
born,
in
shit,
prison.
85.
He was sent to Leavenworth Federal Penitentiary, one of the most notorious prisons in America. Law enforcement celebrated. They had cut the head off the snake. Oakland's most dangerous drug lord was behind bars. The heroin trade would collapse. Violence would decrease. The city could breathe again. That is what they believed. They were catastrophically wrong. Here is the fact that makes Felix Mitchell's story unlike any other gangster story ever told. When police removed Felix Mitchell from Oakland, crime got worse. Not a little worse, catastrophically worse. The level and scope of crime increased. The volume of drugs on the streets of Oakland and other East Bay communities surged. Heroin did not become harder to find. It became cheaper, more accessible. More people got addicted. More people died. And the violence exploded. Without Felix Mitchell controlling the market, smaller gangs rushed to fill the vacuum. They did not have his discipline. They did not have his structure. They did not have his ability to keep things under control. What they had were guns and ambition, and no one to tell them no. Price wars broke out. Shooting wars followed. The streets of Oakland became more dangerous than they had ever been under Felix Mitchell's rule. Criminologists gave this phenomenon a name. They called it the Felix Mitchell paradox. The idea is this: Felix had such monopoly power over Oakland's drug market that he actually controlled the violence. He set prices, so there were no price wars. He policed the smaller gangs, so there were no turf wars. He was the ceiling and the floor. Remove him, and everything collapses. Think about what that means. While Felix ran Oakland, he set the price of heroin. One price, stable, no competition. If a smaller dealer tried to undercut him, Felix's people dealt with it. If a new gang tried to move into his territory, Felix's people dealt with that too. It was brutal. It was criminal. But it was controlled. Remove Felix, and suddenly there was no one setting the price. 20 small-time dealers flooded the same corners. They undercut each other. Heroin got cheaper. Cheaper heroin meant more customers. More customers meant more addicts. More addicts meant more desperation. More desperation meant more crime. and the turf wars. Without Felix keeping smaller gangs in check, everybody grabbed for territory. Every block became contested. Every corner became a battlefield. The police thought they were performing surgery, removing a tumor from the body of Oakland. Instead, they performed an amputation with no plan for what came after. It is the same principle economists use when studying monopolies. A single company controlling a market is bad, but shattering that monopoly without replacing it with something better creates chaos. The police did not save Oakland by removing Felix Mitchell, they broke it. His very absence was more dangerous than his presence had ever been. And here is what makes this more than just a story about one drug dealer. The Felix Mitchell paradox has been documented in cities across America. Take out the kingpin, and the kingdom does not fall. It fractures into 100 pieces, each one sharp enough to kill. Felix Mitchell did not live to see what happened to his city. On August 21st, 1986, a little more than a year into his life sentence at Leavenworth Federal Penitentiary, another inmate stabbed Felix Mitchell to death. He was 31 years old. His 32nd birthday was 2 days away. 2 days. Think about that. A man builds an empire that generates millions. He controls an entire city's drug market. He has more money.
Oh, look at that Cobra.
Hey, now just think about it, bro. He died at 31 years old. Up until he went to jail, this dude was a millionaire.
Damn, at 30, in his early 30s?
Yeah, he was a millionaire. He had bought he bought this actor mansion out in LA. If you Google it, I don't know the actual guy's name, but he had bought this actor mansion out in LA in LA Hills. But that's how look how young he was, bro. He died at 31 years old, a millionaire. He was a millionaire.
That's some shit.
See how they gave him a life sentence. There was a straight young. There was young millionaires at that time from the streets.
Yeah. Said that man had diamonds all encrusted in his eyeglasses and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Said this nigga had Ferrari. Nigga had a Ferrari, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Just
Porsches and shit.
Just look at it when you was at say 25, 26, man. This dude was a straight millionaire.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro.
That was young.
I was hustling my ass off at 26.
Come on, that's what I'm saying. Them motherfuckers was millionaires. That's a 6'9" right there.
Yeah, that's a
clean 6'9".
Oh, that's clean. I want one of them too. Like, cause don't nobody know about them, but you know.
Nah, there was just just us. We the only ones that ride the Cougar, Stangs, and Falcons.
That's it. Yeah,
we the only ones.
I want one of them right there. I want one of them right there.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
All right.
Money than he could ever spend. He has cars, diamonds, fur coats, power. Thousands of people would have done anything he asked. And he dies on a prison floor, stabbed by another inmate.
What up, Diggs?
In a federal penitentiary 1,000 miles from.
Diggs, what's up, dog?
I'm cool. Y'all go ahead. I'm listening.
All right.
Oakland, 2 days before his birthday, with no one from 69 Ville there to help him. The man who created the country's first large-scale, gang-controlled drug operation died the way so many of his own victims had died. Violently, suddenly, with no warning and no escape. 8 days later came the funeral. The horse-drawn carriage, the 14 Rolls Royces, the $sign flowers, the 8,000 mourners, Huey P. Newton in the crowd, international television coverage, a city mourning a drug dealer like a king. In 1987, Felix Mitchell's criminal convictions were overturned by a federal judge on technicalities. It didn't matter. he was already dead. Felix Mitchell's story does not end with his funeral. It continues through his nephew. Darrell Lil D. Reed had grown up watching his uncle, the cars, the jewelry, the diamond-encrusted glasses, the power. Felix had treated him like a son. When Felix died, Reed was still in high school, but he was already moving thousands of dollars of crack cocaine a day. Reed rose fast, faster than anyone expected. By 20 years old, he was the most powerful drug dealer in the Bay Area. Not heroin this time, crack cocaine. The new drug had arrived in Oakland just as Felix's empire collapsed, and Reed rode the wave. He had the whole city, East Oakland, West Oakland, North Oakland. He was clearing $15,000 a day. He was buying exotic cars with brown paper bags full of cash. And he was still a teenager. Reed was so successful that in December 1988, he threw himself a 20th birthday party at the Golden Gate Fields Turf Club in Albany. He paid $30,000 for the event. 3,000 guests attended. MC Hammer, the Oakland rapper who was about to become the biggest artist in the world, performed. Reed got on stage and danced with him. 3,000 people watching a 20-year-old drug dealer dance with MC Hammer at a black tie party he threw for himself. Less than 2 weeks later, the DEA kicked in his door. They raided his Adams Point apartment in Oakland and seized 30 pounds of crack cocaine and 16 pounds of powder cocaine. Street value, $3 million. It was one of the largest drug seizures in Bay Area history. The most chilling detail was that an undercover officer had been holed up in an apartment directly above Reed's, listening to him cook cocaine. Reed was sentenced to 35 years in federal prison, first offense. And when Reed went away, the second Oakland drug war erupted. Two of Reed's former lieutenants, Timothy "Timmy" Black Blewett and Anthony the Ant Flowers, turned on each other. Blewett was Reed's second in command. Flowers was his enforcer and hitman. 16 murders in less than 3 years. Felix Mitchell's empire had created a cycle that kept repeating. Build, control, get arrested, power vacuum, war, bodies, repeat. In 2016, 28 years after his arrest, President Barack Obama commuted Darrell Reed's sentence. The former crack king of Oakland walked free. He now runs a foundation in his name. He mentors at-risk youth. He tells his story as a warning. Reed wrote from prison, "To anybody who thinks that I lived a great life, it was not worth decades of my freedom." Felix Mitchell is immortalized in rap lyrics by Too Short and Yuckmouth. BET profiled him on American Gangster. The movie New Jack City was loosely inspired by his story. His name still echoes through Oakland decades after his death. But the thing that separates Felix Mitchell from every other drug lord who ever lived is that paradox. Every other gangster story ends the same way. The police catch the bad guy. Justice is served. The city is saved. Felix Mitchell's story proves that's a lie, because sometimes the system is so broken that removing the villain doesn't fix anything. It makes everything worse. The problem wasn't Felix Mitchell. The problem was a city so devastated by poverty, by neglect, by decades of disinvestment and institutional abandonment that a heroin dealer from the housing projects became its most important leader, the only person investing in the community, even if those investments were poisoned. Take him away and you don't get safety, you get chaos. Felix Mitchell gave candy to children and flooded their neighborhood with heroin. He donated to charities and popularized drive-by shootings. He went to church and ordered executions. He was the best thing and the worst thing that ever happened to 69 Ville. And that says more about America than it says about Felix Mitchell. His funeral procession, the horse-drawn carriage, the 14 Rolls Royces, the $6,000 bronze coffin topped with dollar-sign flowers, the 8,000 people lining the streets, wasn't just a drug dealer's send-off. It was Oakland screaming, "Look at us. Look at what we've been reduced to. Look at who we have to mourn." That's the Felix Mitchell paradox. And Oakland is still living with it.
They don't want you to know about it.
Hey, did you know you might get a big cash payout if you were in a car accident?
If y'all like Rough Riders, throw your arms.
We represent Rough Riders and all our peoples that represent Rough.
Who would have ever bet on dudes from the street being able to?
In the 1970s, Oakland had plenty of hustlers, but none moved the way Felix Mitchell did. He came up out of the 69th Street projects with a tight crew, a disciplined mind, and a blueprint that made his name untouchable. To most people, he looked quiet, almost harmless. But to the streets, he was the architect of an operation that changed the entire Bay Area. His rise sparked gang wars, rattled law enforcement, and left behind a legacy so heavy that even his funeral brought the whole city to a standstill. This is the story of how a kid with nothing became Oakland's most feared kingpin. Felix Wayne Mitchell Jr.'s story didn't start with the legend. It started with the kid trying to climb his way out of the 69th Street projects in Oakland. Born on August 23, 1954, he grew up surrounded by poverty, pressure, and the kind of environment that either breaks you or pushes you to hustle harder. And Felix, he chose the hustle. From early on, he had this natural gift for pulling people together. Even after dropping out of high school, he carried himself like someone who saw a bigger picture. Bit by bit, he built a circle of tough, street-savvy men, cats who were already known in the neighborhood, and he gave their crew a name that felt personal, the 69 Mob. To them, mob didn't mean some wild gangster slogan. It meant my other brother. That alone tells you how he operated. His power wasn't just fear, it was loyalty. Felix himself stood out everywhere he went. Tall, slim, soft-spoken, but commanding the room without raising his voice. He had that diamond-filled hourglass chain he loved to show off, and he'd sit his lieutenants down to watch The Godfather like it was homework. He ran his world the same way, calculated, structured, and disciplined, and the empire grew fast. The 69 Mob didn't just take over Oakland, their reach stretched across the entire Bay Area. Heroin was the engine, and Felix was the architect. He tapped into suppliers, runners, and dealers across California and even reached as far as Detroit. Linking up with LA kingpin Tootie Reese opened even more doors, helping him build a network that moved like a corporation instead of a street gang. But with growth came consequences. The drugs flowing through his operation brought chaos, addiction, and violence to neighborhoods already struggling to survive. His name traveled far, earning him the alias Felix the Cat, a nickname that gave him a mysterious, almost mythical reputation in the streets and made law enforcement even more determined to bring him down. By early 1970s, the mob was fully active in San Antonio Village, a housing project in Oakland. They weren't sloppy or unorganized. Felix built a hierarchy with 20 to 25 members, each slot with a defined role. Some moved the product, some collected the cash, and the lookouts kept watch for cops, quick to whistle, yell, or tap a signal anytime danger rolled up. Walkie-talkies stayed buzzing. Money flowed up the ladder all day until it hit Felix, who then paid everybody out like a real CEO. The operation was making serious money, sometimes up to $15,000 a day, and the demand was outrageous. Addicts didn't just come from the block, they came from all over the Bay, hopping buses and trains just to buy from the mob. It became one of the biggest open-air drug markets the area had ever seen. Naturally, that kind of action didn't stay hidden for long. Local police, federal agencies, everybody had eyes on Felix. But taking him down wasn't simple. His crew was sharp, disciplined, and always one step ahead. Every time law enforcement applied pressure, the mob shifted. First, they got pushed to Berkeley, then forced out again. They moved west, settling in the Campbell housing projects. They bounced from neighborhood to neighborhood, setting up shop wherever they could keep the heat down. The run finally slowed in 1978 when Felix was arrested on drug charges. That arrest marked the end of the mob's open-air domination. But in a twist straight out of a crime drama, those charges were later tossed out on a technicality. By the early 1980s, Felix Mitchell wasn't just running a drug operation. He was running an empire that moved like a whole corporation planted in the heart of the East Oakland projects. Folks in the neighborhood even had a name for it, the Heroin Supermarket. And that wasn't an exaggeration. He operated right out of ragged apartments in the San Antonio Villa projects on 65th and 69th Avenue, turning those rundown buildings into the headquarters of a multi-million-dollar hustle. He kept everything tight and controlled. He put young kids, children who had no business being in that world, on lookout duty. He sold dope with a system designed to keep police as far away as possible. Addicts didn't get face-to-face access. Instead, the product got dropped through hoses or chutes from upstairs windows, and the cash had to slide through little slits in the doors. And anybody trying to buy had to prove they were real users by showing their needle marks. Felix wasn't about to let an undercover cop slip through, but as his operation expanded, everybody else in the game took notice. When somebody's pulling in that kind of cash and controlling that much of the street supply, rivals start circling. Two major crews stepped up to challenge the 69 mob, Funktown, USA, led by Harvey Washington, and The Family, run by Mickey Moore. These weren't petty neighborhood beefs. These were serious battles over who controlled the Bay Area's heroin pipeline. Those battles got ugly quick. Violence became routine. The mob was making anywhere from $400,000 to $1 million a month, and that kind of money paints a target on your back. Mitchell fought to protect every inch of his territory, and while he was fighting, he was also living loud. European cars, designer clothes, massive parties. He leaned all the way into the persona of an Oakland star, but he didn't just soak it up for himself. He put money back into the community, donating to youth groups and neighborhood programs. To a lot of people, he was a villain and a savior at the same time. Things hit a boiling point in August 1980. This wasn't just hustling anymore. It was a full-scale war. The mob used intimidation and brute force to keep their blocks locked down. Anyone trying to sell heroin inside their territory was risking their life. Within 3 days, police found 6 murder victims connected directly to the escalating conflict. The dead included Carlos Durantes, Sandra Adamson, Vindisha Davis, Red Walker, Ricky Walker, Terry Hatter, and Charles Dorsey. 2 others, Helen Campbell and Alvin Gaye, were shot but survived. Oakland police were drowning in bodies. The violence was so severe they named the stretch of killings Bloody August. And once they connected the dots, they decided it was time to go after the man they believed was calling all the shots, Felix Mitchell. By 1981, Mitchell was facing 4 murder charges. He was 27, living in a mansion in Los Angeles when officers arrested him, believing he had ordered multiple killings to protect his control of the heroin trade. Investigators listed 12 special circumstance allegations tied to those murders. Even one conviction would have put him in line for the death penalty. Authorities kept saying the same thing. Felix was the kingpin of the 69 mob, the one operating that so-called heroin supermarket out of San Antonio Village and the Acorn Apartments. And according to police, his crew had terrorized residents, kicking families out of their apartments for hours at a time so drug deals could run uninterrupted. 3 of the murders he was charged with were connected to the war with the family. Police found the bodies of 2 of their members and a woman in the Oakland Hills, a triple homicide that shocked the whole city. But detectives believed there were even more victims, possibly 3 additional killings in that same week tied to the same conflict. 4 other men, Charles Lewis, Kirk Usher, Donald Moore, and Alvin Gaye, were also arrested. Lieutenant Terry Green said those 5 men formed the entire leadership chain of the mob. Police were sure they had the right crew and they expected more arrests to follow. They believed they were finally closing the chapter on the mob. But then everything flipped. A lack of solid evidence forced prosecutors to drop 3 of the 4 murder charges. The triple homicide case against Mitchell and the 4 other men just didn't hold up. Without that, the alleged henchman walked free, and the police were left with only one count, the 1977 murder of Carlos Durantes. Durantes had never been part of any gang. According to Lieutenant Green, he was an innocent man who got mistaken for someone trying to invade mob territory. His killing was a tragic example of how reckless and unforgiving the drug war had become. Even with 3 charges dropped, Felix still had to face the remaining murder count, and police weren't letting go. Green made it clear they planned to dig deeper and expected more arrests in the Durantes case. The bigger picture was bleak. Green admitted that roughly a quarter of Oakland's murders every year were drug-related, most of them tied to the violent back and forth between the mob and the family. It was a cycle that kept swallowing lives, innocent or not, as the city struggled to survive the storm created by a war over heroin and control. Now, around this time, the streets of Oakland were buzzing with tension, and the pressure around Felix Mitchell's empire was reaching its boiling point. So when April 1983 rolled in, everything started moving fast. It kicked off when the Oakland Police Department finally snatched up Leslie Brigham on a murder charge. Now, anyone who knows that life knows what usually happens next. Once you're sitting in that cold cell, staring at those walls, cooperating starts sounding real tempting. And that's exactly what Brigham started doing, quietly talking to the feds who were gearing up to take down the man running the whole show, Felix Mitchell. But Mitchell had eyes everywhere. On April 17th, while Brigham was still locked up, Mitchell's own attorney walked into that jail and tried to shut everything down. She told Brigham straight up that cooperating wasn't in his best interest. Then she pulled out a handwritten note from Felix himself, a message telling Brigham not to testify, not to talk, not to fold. The pressure on Brigham was getting heavier by the minute. Meanwhile, another move was happening behind the scenes. Just a couple days earlier, around April 15th, Lester had pulled McGill and a few others into a quiet meeting. They weren't discussing small talk. They were figuring out how to get Brigham out of jail before he said too much. This wasn't even a new worry. Back in February, at another meeting attended by both Lester and Mitchell, Felix had already expressed fear that his own arrest was coming soon and that Brigham might crack under federal heat. So at that April 15th meeting, Lester laid it out crystal clear. Brigham had to be released because everyone knew he was ready to talk. Lester didn't just approve the plan, he funded it. He told McGill to grab $1,000 in cash to post toward Brigham's bail. But before Lester and his people could even make a move, Oakland police flipped the script. Instead of releasing Brigham into the hands of his crew, they quietly delivered him straight to the FBI for temporary protection. On April 18th, the feds checked Brigham and his wife into a motel in San Francisco, giving them a safe place to breathe. But that safety didn't last long. Within 2 days, Brigham and his wife slipped out and headed back to Oakland, landing at his sister's place. And this is where Brigham made a critical mistake. He called Tony Mitchell, Felix's brother, and left a message letting him know exactly where he was. That call set off a chain reaction. Soon after, Lester called the same house and found out Brigham was there. Brigham panicked and immediately tried to reach the Justice Department attorney. But while he was still on that call, the front door swung open and in walked Lester, Lester's brother Tony, and Tony Mitchell himself. The timing couldn't have been worse. Brigham quickly switched up, pretending the call was about something harmless. After a tense conversation and even a call to Felix Mitchell himself, the decision was made. Brigham needed to disappear for a while, so he was moved to a motel in Alameda, escorted by Lester's brother, who paid for the room and dropped $300 in Brigham's hand, telling him to sit tight until morning. The next day, McGill showed up, just like planned. He and Brigham, along with their wives, shacked up at another Alameda motel for about 3 days. Money eventually started running low, so the two men drove over to Annie McDonald's place, where she handed McGill $500. With that cash, the group took off for San Diego. They ended up laying low there for about 3 weeks, living in motels paid for by one of Felix Mitchell's girlfriends, always in cash. Money kept coming in from Oakland, usually passed through Lester's brother, and McGill would split it with Brigham. But hiding only lasts so long. When they finally returned to Oakland, the FBI swooped in and arrested Brigham again. That arrest led to bigger charges. Lester and McGill were indicted for conspiracy, obstruction of justice, and obstructing a criminal investigation. And the government's case leaned heavily on two key insiders, Brigham himself and another ex-gang member named Norbert Blewett. At trial, prosecutors came armed. 3 former members of the mob, Fred Sanders, Blewett, and Brigham, had all flipped, entered the federal witness protection program, and stepped onto the stand. They painted the full picture. The heroin sales, the structure of the operation, the violent enforcement, the murders, all of it. The government backed that testimony with stacks of evidence, documents, outside records, police reports, and witness accounts. But the story stretched back even further. Felix Mitchell and several others had been federally indicted on February 18, 1983, charged with conspiracy to distribute heroin and income tax evasion for crimes dating all the way back to 1976. He was arraigned in March, hit with a massive $2.5 million bail. His first trial started in June 1983 under Judge Orrick, but by July, it collapsed into a mistrial. A second trial followed, and this time the government got what it wanted. Felix Mitchell was convicted, not just for heroin distribution, but for directing a full-scale criminal enterprise, plus tax evasion, and failing to file returns. Even while the defense was still appealing issues from the mistrial in December 1983, the court stepped in and reduced his bail from $2.5 million down to $1 million. Now, when February 17th, 1984 came around, things took another wild turn. Oakland police rolled up on a car parked off to the side of the road. Inside were 2 familiar faces in the front seat, Kenny Dickens and Melvin Lester, both connected to the mob. In the back seat sat Levon Henderson, a juvenile caught in the middle of grown man business. Officers flashed their badges, and instead of chilling and talking it out, the car shot off. Tires screeching, engine roaring, the whole thing jumped off fast. Dickens and Lester had their own version of why they took off. According to them, the officers weren't wearing uniforms and were pointing big guns at the car. They said it scared the life out of them, so instead of waiting around, they pressed the gas. Whatever the real story was, it still turned into a full-blown chase. During that chase, officers claimed they saw Lester trying to toss a plastic bag out the window. The car was shaking too much for him to pull it off. A few seconds later, after the car steadied a bit, Dickens supposedly leaned over and chucked the bag out onto the street. Officers later doubled back, searched the area, and said they found a bag holding 110 balloons of heroin. Both Dickens and Lester denied every bit of that. To them, there was no bag, no drugs, nothing. But one thing the police definitely did notice was the ring Lester had on, worth between $2 and $5 grand. Not exactly the accessory of a man living clean. Once Lester hit the witness stand, things got even messier. The prosecutor wasted no time going straight for the nerve. He asked Lester point blank whether Felix Mitchell had given him the ring. Lester denied it without blinking. But that denial only opened the door to even more questions. Questions about his relationship with Felix, questions about what exactly Felix's business really was. Then it got tense. When Lester denied that Mitchell was the boss of the mob, the prosecutor dug deeper. He started bringing up an old trial, Lester's own brother's case, where a witness had supposedly identified Lester as being part of the mob. Lester denied that too, but denial didn't slow the prosecutor down. Imaging detail. The mob was in the drug business. Once that landed, the courtroom energy shifted. Lester and Dickens immediately objected. They even moved for a mistrial. Their argument then, and the same one they pushed on appeal, was that the prosecutor had crossed the line. They said this whole line of questioning unfairly painted them as members of an organized crime group, poisoning the jury against them. The government had a mixed response. They admitted one thing, that bringing up the identification at Lester's brother's trial was premature. But everything else, they stood firm. They insisted the questions about Felix and the mob were perfectly legitimate.
We have got to the point where literally anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to code. This is Base 44. This is a first.
Jumping back on the timeline, October 22nd, 1984 was another important date. Mitchell tried once again to get his bail reduced. The court wasn't falling for it. They told him any reconsideration would only happen if he could prove something had significantly changed since the last bail decision. Mitchell didn't quit. On November 19th, he renewed that motion, this time flashing an offer of employment in Oakland as proof he wasn't a flight risk. Then came the 1985 trial, easily the heaviest chapter of his story. Witnesses stepped forward and claimed Mitchell's organization was involved in at least 7 murders, with some of those killings allegedly ordered by Mitchell himself. Prosecutor George Nispolo painted the gang as a machine with 25 to 30 members, pulling in nearly $400,000 a month. The money was flowing fast, but it came with a dark cost: thousands of addicts, many forced to keep using just to keep working. On June 4th, 1985, inside a San Francisco courtroom, Judge Marilyn Hall Patel delivered the final blow. Mitchell received the maximum sentence, life without the possibility of parole. She didn't sugarcoat her reasoning, calling his reign over the Oakland housing projects nothing less than terror. But the coldest part came from Mitchell himself. Before sentencing, he told his probation officer he liked money, jewelry, and fine cars, and went out and got them. Then he finished with a twisted question, asking if that wasn't the American way. By August 1986, Felix was deep into his sentence at Leavenworth Penitentiary, locked away but still carrying the weight of his name. Then, without warning, everything came crashing down. On August 21st, 1986, guards found him collapsed in his cell around 3 p.m. He'd been stabbed repeatedly, 10 wounds in total. Prison spokesman Jeff Duncan later confirmed that he was taken to Cushing Memorial Hospital, but the damage was too severe. Mitchell died on August 26th at 1:59 a.m., the victim of a brutal attack no one claimed and no one could explain. There were no suspects, no motive, nothing but silence and blood. Duncan wouldn't discuss Mitchell's behavior inside the prison, and the FBI stepped in to investigate. Even locked up, his story still came with mystery. 4 days after his death, Oakland saw a scene that stopped traffic, literally. On August 30th, 1986, more than 1,000 people lined up outside his East Oakland home. You'd expect a crowd like that for a celebrity or a national icon, but this was for a man whose life was wrapped in crime, violence, and gold chains. Yet the turnout said everything. Felix Mitchell still held power, even in death. The send-off was pure spectacle. 2 horses pulled a carriage carrying his body in an intricately designed bronze casket. The neighborhood, struggling with projects, boarded-up buildings, and the grind of unemployment, watched this over-the-top display of wealth glide past like a movie scene. Some came to pay respects, others came out of curiosity, but everyone felt the weight of it. City officials were horrified. They'd spent years trying to steer kids away from the street life, and here was a funeral that looked more like a king's parade. Councilman Wilson Riles Jr. warned that it sent the wrong message, that drug dealing had heroes. Councilman Leo Bazile didn't sugarcoat it either, calling the whole thing glorification of a murdering thug. But all the outrage in the world didn't stop the procession. It rolled through the city for 2 hours, tying up traffic across an 8-mile stretch, passing downtown in Lake Merritt, the very same area Mitchell once controlled through fear and dope money. The funeral looked like organized royalty. A stone-faced man in a gray top hat and black tails led the horses. Behind him came a fleet of luxury, 4 Rolls Royces, 10 white limousines, and a lineup of Cadillacs and Lincolns shining like they belonged in a rap video. Big men in sharp black tuxedos with shaved heads and red roses in their lapels flanked the family, holding each other when the emotion hit too hard. Mitchell's relatives wore red and black, turning grief into choreography. Before the funeral, Detective Everett Greminger didn't hold back at headquarters. He had chased Mitchell since 1976 and knew exactly what the man had built. He said Mitchell was a heroin dealer who started in the Oakland projects, spread to Sacramento, and linked up with the right people in Los Angeles. He called him a low-life scumbag and made it clear he wasn't buying into any martyr story. To him, justice had already been served, a life sentence for a life of destruction. But on the street, the views were much more complicated. A woman named Eliva Clark said he showed young kids they didn't have to stay poor. Another man, Sam Johnson, admired how Mitchell built himself up from nothing, saying he did what he had to do in a world where being a black man meant nothing came easy. To Johnson, Mitchell was a fighter. Then there was the 11-year-old boy in the Yankees cap stretching on his toes just to get a better look at the casket. Mitchell had been his neighbor once. He thought the whole funeral was amazing. He said Mitchell was cool. Cool clothes, cool cars, even slipped his mother money sometimes. When asked if he knew where that money came from, the boy smirked and said he did, but shouldn't say. That little grin said everything about the influence Mitchell still had, but not everyone standing out there was impressed. One woman holding her 10-month-old great-granddaughter worried that kids would look at all this and see glory instead of consequences. Another mother, Carletta Fail, said he would look larger than life in their eyes. She hoped the spectacle scared them instead of inspiring them. She reminded anyone listening that you can live big, but you can die big too. Now, inside the Star Bethel Baptist Church over on San Pablo and Stanford, the scene hit a whole different level. The building was overflowing, about 1,800 people crammed inside and another 1,000 plus outside holding their spots. And while folks moved past the open casket, Sade's smooth operator floated through the speakers. Not a hymn, not a choir, just that smooth, cool, almost ironic track setting the tone while people whispered their goodbyes. The church was stacked with flowers too, at least 24 arrangements everywhere you looked.